Mafunzo New Curriculum, and as usual, subscribe and like our videos, and thereafter, actually, we do what we are supposed to do. Welcome. Today, a very wonderful morning, and today in our lesson SST, I would like to take you through the topic, or rather the subtopic, establishment of colonial rule in Kenya. How did it all start? How did we end up becoming a British colony? This is how it started. I want you to pay attention and go with me from this one to the end. This is part one. Colonial rule in Kenya was introduced in Kenya with the coming of the British. It's the coming of the Europeans. Christian missionaries and explorers were the first Europeans to come into Kenya. Christian missionaries and the explorers were the first Europeans to come to Kenya. Now, when these Christian missionaries came to Kenya, they established missions along the coast. Some of these missions established were like Rabai, Kilifi, and Taita Tafeta along the coastal area. Now, after staying there for a stage of time, these Christian missionaries decided to go into the interior. And therefore, as they moved into the interior, they too established some more missions. Examples of such missions included Kibwezi, Kitui, Thogoto, and of course Nyanza, not forgetting later they moved to Western Kenya. Now, after staying in Kenya for some time, these missionaries, Christian missionaries and explorers, they later invited their people into Kenya, who later became settlers. Now, when these settlers settled in Kenya, they came in disguise of trading. You know, some of them started having trading companies. Trading companies were founded. And these trading companies were founded by European merchants who came not with good intentions, but their intentions were to exploit the rich natural resources of Kenya. Our minerals, our farm produce, and name anything that you can think of. So when they started doing this, one of these companies which was started was the British East Africa Company of William Macdon, which later became IBEA, East Africa. Well, as this company of William Macdon continued trading, after a short while, this company became bankrupt. The word bankrupt means to run short of money. To run short of money. Now, when this company became bankrupt, they could not continue to manage the affairs of Kenya as a colony. So what they did, they handed over Kenya to the British, to their country. And this was in the year 1890. That's the time when the company became bankrupt. 1890, IBEA of William Macdon ran bankrupt. And then it handed over Kenya to the British government. Now, when the British government was handed over, when the British government took over in 1895, this is the year when the British government took over Kenya. In the year 1895, Kenya was declared a British protectorate. Kenya was declared a British what? A British protectorate. Protectorate. Kenya was declared as a British protectorate. Immediately, it was taken over as by the government of British. And Kenya was to remain as a British protectorate. And in the year 1920, By the year 1920, many Europeans, this time, they started as Christian missionaries and explorers. But thereafter, we have seen these two people, the Christian missionaries and the explorers, invited their people to come in plenty. And when they came in plenty, they now settled. So by this time, the year 1920, these people now had settled in the fertile lands of Kenya. In the fertile. They took our fertile land. They took the fertile land in Kenya. That is, most of the fertile land is found in the highlands. Central Kenya, Western Rift Valley Highlands, and so forth. So they took over and settled in the fertile lands. And these fertile lands, these fertile areas were known as, they became to be known as the White Islands. The settlers settled in the fertile lands, which were named as the White Islands. And no African could be allowed to come and settle in these fertile lands, which were occupied by the white settlers. Now, some of the communities in Kenya were not happy with this kind of behavior. Their land being taken. And then, foreigners, these settlers, they just settled there without even minding. So, in this occupation, some communities like the Agiriama, the Arabs at the coast, and also Nandi, Ababukusu, Luo, and Abakusi, they resisted. They said no. To say no. They said no, we want to change our land. We don't want people to come and just take our land just like that. These were the resistors. The Agiriama, by that time, they were under Menza Mekatilili wa Menza. She was an iron lady. Mekatilili wa Menza. Then there was Ababukusu. There was also the Luo. And of course, Abakusi. They resisted. But on the other hand, these settlers, these Europeans, the British used what we call divide and rule system. Other communities like the Maasai and the Lenana, Abawanga of Nabongo, Mumia, and Kikuyu of Muranga, around under the leadership of Karuli wa Ngakure, and the Luos under the leadership of Odera Okano, collaborated with the British. They said, no, we have no problem with the British settlers taking over our fertile lands. So you see, there were two camps. There are those communities, communities as a tribe. There are those communities which resisted the British settling in Kenya. And there were those who collaborated, who welcomed. And they said, yes, you British, you can see this. So, in our next lesson, we're going to see part 2 and see what happened. Those who are resisting, those who are collaborating, when the British now settled, what else? That will be in our next episode, part 2, and that is the establishment of colonial rule in Kenya, how it all started. And then from there we shall see now we have come to Kenya, we have settled in the White Highlands, and some of the communities are resisting, others are saying no, others saying now you can come. There were those two camps, resistors and the collaborators. Resistors resisted, they didn't want them to come, and the collaborators welcomed them. So in our next episode, part 2, we're going to see what happened after that. Welcome.